Hey everyone, it's Katie, and I'm here today to do the Unpopular Opinions book tag. I feel like it's a good idea not only to get to know me, but also to get to know some of the things that I'm not exactly a fan of. And so here we go. 1. A popular book or series you did not like. I'm not the biggest fan of the Kingkiller Chronicle by Patrick Rothfuss. Now, I love his style. Like, that's not the problem. I love his writing. It's so poetic and beautiful. But I don't really like his characters that much. They irritate me and they just don't feel, I don't connect to them. I can't connect to them, particularly Kvothe, who's the main character. He's the one that we're reading about. And because I can't really connect to him, I don't really empathize with him. I mostly want to throw him off a building constantly. It's very, very difficult for me to get into the series. Plus, the plot, it doesn't really feel like anything happens. Yes, we get some world building in the name of the wind, but it feels like we're stuck in the same period of time constantly, and we're just repeating it over and over itself, like Groundhog Day. And so I couldn't find myself really enjoying the series, so that was hard for me. 2. A popular book or series everyone else seems to hate but you love. Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I don't understand why so many people dislike and hate this book, but I absolutely adore it. I love that we get to follow Jane throughout her entire life on every little adventure she goes on. I mean, the book is broken up into several different parts depending on where she is in her life. We get to see the trials she goes through. We get to see her grow as a character. We get to see her fall in love and have all kinds of conflict. So, I mean, I love her as a character, plus just getting to see what the time period's like. That's really neat. It's written by a female author at a time where women didn't really write, and I just adore it. It's one of those books that I can read over and over again and still find new things that I missed or hadn't noticed before, and so that's really cool to me. I love books that I can read every time and then just see new things. So I don't understand why people don't like it. 3. A love triangle where the main character ended up with the person you did not want them to end up with, or an OTP that you don't like. I'm not kidding when I said I've thought about this question for days. Literally days. I can't think of any book where it's like the love triangle, they didn't end up with the person I didn't want them to. So I mean, that one doesn't really apply. And while there are plenty of OTPs I don't like, I can understand why people ship them, and I can almost get behind it even if I'm not super into a ship. Or I understand why it's necessary as a plot device kind of thing. So I mean, when I look at it that way, it's different, but if I had to just throw one out there, like pick one out of the hat and say, I'm just really not a fan of this, and I don't get why people really like this ship, is Cho and Harry from Harry Potter. Cho irritates me. She just seemed to wanted to use Harry for his fame kind of thing, and I was like, I'm not liking this. But I mean, I don't like it. I get why it's necessary, and I can see why people would ship it. But I like them more as friends than I do as a couple. I don't know. Number 4, a popular book genre you'd hardly reach for. I'm not big into supernatural, paranormal books. Like, I've read some, and they're alright, but they're not my first choice. Like, if I don't look at the aisle just to see if there's anything that might pique my interest. So, I mean, I'm not completely writing it off as something I will never read, but it's not generally not my cup of tea. 5. A popular or beloved character that you do not like. I mean, going back to kind of the first one, I'm not a huge fan of Kvothe from the Kingkiller Chronicle. I know a lot of people who like him, who like his story, who really find him to be sympathetic, feel bad for him at many different parts of the books. I'm just not a fan. I find him to be beyond arrogant. He's good at everything. He gets everything he wants most of the time. And I'm like, okay, like, at first it's kind of fun, but after a while it gets really irritating because no one in life gets everything they want and is good at everything constantly. So I just find the way his character is written and the way that he is just really annoying, and it does not reach me the way that other people do. I don't find him sympathetic or sad, really. I just find him stupid and annoying. 6. A popular author that you can't seem to get into. Patrick Rothfuss. I mean, I love his writing style. As I said, I love his way with words, but his characterization and the way that he moves the plot just don't pique my interest very much. Number 7. A popular book trope you're tired of seeing. I'm the greatest at everything. Nothing bothers me. I guess you could call it the chosen one. It's like, no matter what they do, they're not gonna fail. They're always gonna be, at the top of their game, and they're always gonna win. They're always gonna come out on top. I don't know. After a while, that just gets really repetitive and kind of irritating. I mean, it's not to say, like, I read a lot of books with that trope, but after a while, I do get really tired of it. 8. A popular series you have no interest in reading. I'm not really into, like, Vampire Academy or Vampire Diaries, like super romantic-y, supernatural things. Like, I read Twilight, and I liked it for, like, the span of a month, and then I was like, why did I like this book? I kind of hated everything about it. I'm too keen on, so it's like, those are not the books or the series that I'm typically going to go for. So those are just some examples, because I can think of probably a bunch off the top of my head. And finally, 9. The saying goes, the book is always better than the movie. But what movie or TV show adaptation do you prefer more than the book? Game of Thrones. I'm not excited about George R.R. Martin's execution of his story. Like, I love his story, I love his plot, I really enjoy his characters, but the way that it flows and his writing style in particular are not my favorite. So I just felt that the TV show has executed it and explored the world and the characters and their lives and just made it better. They've really made it work, and I like it more because of it. Well, that's all I've got for you today. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, or follow me on all my social media accounts that I've linked below, and I will be back with a new video sometime very soon. Okay, bye!